All right, everyone. So this is how you are going to change your fraction 5/8 into a decimal. If you remember from the slideshow, we have our fraction 5/8 written out right here. So I'm going to show you how we are going to convert this fraction into a decimal by dividing. If you remember from the slideshow, we have to first make a division problem. So let's write our little division house right here. Okay. Now remember, step one is to put the numerator or our top number into the inside of our house. Okay. I apologize for that. So we're going to put this 5, this numerator, into the inside of our house. The next step is we're going to put our denominator, or the bottom number, 8, into the outside of our house. Okay, so the important thing to remember is every time you're converting a fraction to a decimal, your numerator, or the top number, is always going to go on the inside. Your bottom number, or the denominator, is always going to go on the outside. Okay? So the next step is changing this to a decimal. So, if you notice, 8 cannot go into 5. It's too big. So what we have to do then is put a decimal and a 0. By putting a decimal and a 0, we're not making the number any bigger or smaller. We're simply giving us more numbers to add. And if you notice, anytime you place a decimal right here, you will need to float that decimal up on top of your division house. All right, we are now ready to divide this problem out. Okay, so 8 cannot go into 50. I'm sorry, 8 cannot go into 5, so we're going to have to make 8 go into 50. Okay, so we're going to treat this 5.0 as it was a 50, so we have to figure out how many times 8 goes into 50. So we're going to count our multiples of 8 right over here. So we'll start with 8. Okay, we're going to count by 8s, so we're going to do 16, 24, 32. Next up will be 40. And if you count by 8 one more time, you'll get 48. Now, you don't want to count anything over that because after that, we will go over 50. So, how many times did we count 8? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this 6 is now going to come to the right of our decimal because, remember, we put 8 into 50. So, therefore, our 6 must go on top of the 0, and it must go after the decimal. All right, now we're going to treat this like any other normal division problem. And remember, the second step in a division problem is to multiply the number on top of the house by the number outside of the house. So we have 6 times 8, and that is going to give us 48 from our multiples over here. All right, we counted 8 6 times. So remember, your next step is going to be you're going to subtract whatever 6 times 8 is. So now this gives us 50 minus 48. You do not need to worry about the decimal that's right here whenever you're subtracting. Just subtract it like a normal problem. So 50 minus 48, that's going to leave me with 2. All right, I have to put 1 right here. So 10 minus 8 is 2. So you may want to put a remainder here. However, we must continue this problem because we do not have a 0 on the bottom. So what we can now do is we add another 0. And we're going to bring this down. Okay, we are continuing our division problem. We have to continue until there is a 0 down here at the bottom. So 8 is going to go into 20 2 times. So let's put this 2 right here. right? 8 goes into 20 2 times. So now our next step, 2 times 8, and that's going to be 16 if we look at our multiples over here. So we're going to write minus 16. That's going to give us 4. Running out of room here. This canvas a little bigger. There we go. Okay, and now we still do not have a 0 down here. So yes, we will need to add another 0 and bring it down. This is going to give us 40. If we look at our multiples, we can see that 8 times 5 is going to equal 40. We count our 8 5 times. So we're going to write a 5 up here. And now we're going to do 5 times 8, which we know is 40 based on our multiple chart over here. So we have 40 minus 40. That is going to be 0. So whenever you reach 0, you are done with your problem. So therefore, I know that the fraction 5/8 is going to equal 0.625. And that is how you convert fractions to decimals.